the game
back. Very, very brief, you know. That's how we like to do things in URC. Very nice and quick there, but you haven't missed a thing, other than a couple of lap times that have come in. Delchin goes into third, Alex fourth, and Fens, who is driving the Red Bull for LCR and WOR, or War, slots himself into sixth place at the moment, the Australian. It's so good to see. Danny was himself into fourth as well. Times are going to continue to tumble down. Well, I never like to sort of pen, sort of pin anybody to an answer here, but who can you realistically or even get pole position? I never like to ask these sort of things, but it's always interesting.
It's a difficult one with some of these drivers, just purely because they're all so good, James. And when you're trying to pick, when there's potentially 6-7 guys who could get on pole, it's a difficult one. But I'm a betting man, and from time to time, not some sort of addict. I promise I'm not. But this evening, I'm gonna go with surprise. Not the fact that he's a Welshman, just the fact that he is one of the quickest drivers on the game currently. But he's going to be very closely challenged by almost all the grid, really. Still JD on pole with a 1:29.4, but I'm sure these times will start to tumble, like you said. But it's going to be another close one here in URC. Let us know your predictions, guys, in the chat as well. There's quite a few of you in there as well for tonight. Hopefully you are enjoying. But 10 minutes ago, James, I know you usually don't like doing predictions either, so as I've done one, I think get old and try and give me one as well.
Yeah, well, people know that I never like to, it's always gone off the famous saying, you should never make bets, you should make prophecies that turn out to be wrong. So in that case, I make a prophecy which could turn out to be wrong. And if that's the case, I think maybe I might follow suit. I might be surprised. Having seen him in RLR last season around here, he was mighty fast. But then again, Joe has got things to prove. He is leading the championship, so maybe even it's Joe. Let's hold my neck on the line. Let's hope Joe will get a pole position.
Oh, fantastic. Glad we didn't pick the same thing. So yeah, they're both having what they can do. But like we said, let us know in the chat, guys, who you fancy to put it on pole day. I think we might do some race predictions as well. Seems like the guys are actually racing through the middle sector, and one of these drivers as they go around early on in this qualifying session. But James, race-wise, it's a long old race, and there's plenty of overtaking opportunities around this circuit. So I'm hoping for another enthralling Grand Prix in URC. I'll hopefully see a pad using director in.
Certainly expect to see a plather of overtakes into the hairpin at the bottom of the circuit. What I'm more interested in, what's really frustrating thing about on this game is in real life Grand Prix, especially the last one we just saw, there wasn't as much overtaking. That was allegedly down to the crosswind that I got during the race. Now, we don't really get affected at all by wind on this game. So, wind, headwind, tailwind, crosswinds doesn't make a massive difference, but it does make a difference, and I think that's crucial. Here, as you're right, of different DRS will definitely be, maybe overpowered. I don't know how to use that word, but I think it will be overpowered around here, as in the sense that cars will get constantly dragged along and make their time or lose any time. Well, interesting to see how these guys kind of play it out, whether they decide to. Well, I don't really know how this starts playing out in all truth, but it will be interesting nonetheless. No real times coming in on the top 8. It's clear of Sierra Rosberg off into third as well. But he's 8 clear. Rosberg in second place. That must suggest that is a mighty effort from Limitless.
It is. I believe that softs though, because he's now out on a set of those tires. It doesn't tell me which tires he did that first lap on, Sierra Rosberg, but it'd be good to see here how well he can do. Here currently in P2, Sierra Rosberg for the one of the Renaults, it seems, out in front of Sierra. As you said, James, one of the fastest pad runners on the game, puts it on pole with a 1:29.2, 2 tenths quicker, exactly 2 tenths quicker than Tira Limitless.
Absolutely right, and Velocity Price can only made on his first run in qualifying, so not a bad effort from the Welshman on that occasion, but expect a stumbling. I should just say on an out lap. Sergio Simon is on a lap. Let's take you then through a lap of the Chinese Grand Prix circuit. Turn 1, it's just ever tightens, it all flows through turn 2 and 3, 4 as well. You just got to nail the apex in most of the time and take a slight run up to the kink of turn 5, not existent in the out onto the brakes for turn 6 and throwing the car in. Surprised we saw one again here today. Carl Mitchell moves himself into 4th place at ARL, flat out through turn 7, and it's 6th gear I should just add, and then you've got a downshift to 5th gear through turn 8 as well, and it's such a weird the car, just position the car absolutely spot on the run down towards the end of the 2nd sector, and it's not looking like a bad lap at the moment from Simon. We'll just see, he's going to get a nice little tug for the Ferrari heading on the road, so that'll be interesting. Again, just try to keep this as tight as possible. You want to really open out the corner just so you can get your foot down the loud pedal down a lot earlier, and then with this massive straight, the DRS drops up well about a third of the way down this back straight, then down to the penultimate corner. Easy to lock the right front into here, or Simon duty does, and then runs it a little bit wide. It's not too bad. I should just like to add, doesn't really run it over the AstroTurf, and you do find a lot of drivers touch the AstroTurf. Goes fastest of all with a 29.2 that's about 300ths of a second ahead of Sarah in the house.
Good lap from Simon there. Great on board to have there going around the circus. A good job from the Mercedes man with 4 minutes 50 left. You're enjoying the stream, guys. We are having some slight technical problems, but hopefully we'll get through them as the session goes on. 15 drivers have done their lap so far. 3 to go. Joe, Noel, and Pinecone all yet to do a lap. And Joe is actually on he comes down down the main straight, the second longest on the F1 calendar after the Baku not so straight. But around the penultimate corner he goes as he goes towards the left-hander. But he comes straight into the pits, James. So Joe, another mistake. I think he should be able to get out in time for one more lap, but he's leaving it right to the end.
Yeah, that is a very, very risky game to play as well. If I was a driver, I would actually hate this. I've had it in the past when I've done a league race. It's a case of I'm leaving. You do as many laps as you feel is necessary, and then you go on to the big one that's supposed to be the one where you think, oh yeah, this will be a good lap, and you bottle that as well. And that may have been the case, dare I say, for our championship leader who hasn't been able to hook a lap together properly yet, and I'm sure he'll be slightly nervous that he hasn't got a lap done as well, because he's got about 3.5 minutes to change his fortunes. But look at that top 5 at the moment. So it's Simon from Sierra from Limitless in 4th, and it's Carl Mitchell in 5th. They're actually, let's go down to the top. Tom in 6th place. Good for him at the moment in the Williams, ahead of Danny in 7th for RFL. Infamous is 8th for the ASR. Drelex is 9th at the moment as well, and KJ LCR Leopard only P11 at the moment, along with Rodberg, and Selcho is only 14th fastest. Then Joe, Noel, as you said, and Pinecone off. I haven't said a lap as of yet, so it's going to be a manic happy hour with around 2.5 minutes to go.
It definitely is, James. I mean, there's almost contact between towards the hairpin. Both seem to be on their own laps, but each other they both compromise their own laps by having contact, and so not a good job from Drelex and Leopard there. They got 2 minutes 30. Should be able to get out in time for one last lap in the session, but I think it's going to be pretty frantic. Outlaps galore on the circuit, on our mini little table on board with Zelches. He's on his own outlap. The Alfa Romeo driver coming around the double left-hander in the second sector, but still Simon on pole. All this with the Alpha, and is that Joe? I think it might be Joe. Yeah, Joe's had contact with Zelchi there. James, I think how much of that?
Yeah, look at the right hand side. Actually looks like he may have lost a bit of end plate, or the left hand side if you look at it on the outboard shot. I don't know, but I think he might be alright. Might be able to. I don't know how much damage there is on the McLaren. You can't see it with the halo car, unfortunately. So that's a slight mishap there, but we're going to see now, regardless, a few frantic laps. You've got to hope that Joe can get a lap in the McLaren that's representative of his pace, really, from pole positions in the first 2 Grand Prix. We'll see here today. We will find out with just over a minute to go.
Like James said, still Simon on pole, 0.2, 2/10 quicker. Can't get my words out now. 300ths quicker than Sarah behind. But Joe is out on his lap with 53 seconds to go. He seems to be a stranger warming up, taking tires at the hairpin. I mean, he's very experienced in the world of F1 multiplayer now. He comes down towards the end of sector number 1. What can Joe do? 23.7 in the first sector. More locking up from the McLaren driver on those for Joe now. James, I mean, can he do it? I mean, we've seen it from the past how good Joe is when the pressure's on him, but it's going to be difficult. He's had 3 attempts and, well, he's had 2 attempts and he's failed both times. So can he do it? Third time lucky, and he's off the circuit there as well. Oh, he's all over the place.
Pinecone's gone into pole position at the moment, so I was trying to go across, but Pinecone's into pole. Sarah goes into pole position, both on a 1:29.1. That is crazy. I think maybe from the top 3, separated by 500ths of a second. Infamous only by 1/10 into there. Let's see what the others could do. What have they got in their back pockets? Zero Limitless just coming down for the back straight, and he will be one of the very first of these top few cars to come across the line to complete his front wheel coming into the penultimate corner. He's going to have to get the exit of Dreams here. Indeed he does. Stira, as I said, currently in a pole position. Haas car, and let's see where Tyrrell Limitless can go. Can he get pole? Yes, he can. By 500ths of a second. He's also on a 1:29.1. That is mighty close between all those guys at the top of the timing sheets, and surprises will be one of the others. Come across the line first. Joe only 11th on the grid. The championship leader, as Bosso qualifying, will not start inside the top 10. He's out in down in P11 there, so an awful session really from the McLaren. We wait then for Veloce, surprise in the Mercedes. What can he do in one of the IR cars? Comes down now the pit straight. Can he get himself onto pole position? No, he can't. Only for surprise, and Simon moves himself into second, but look at that, 8,000ths of a second of Tyrrell Limitless' fastest time. And I do wonder, and that is surely qualifying over, but my goodness me, look how close that is. 5 covered by about 2/10 of a second. That is ridiculously close.
Look at that. Shows how quick the guys are in this tier for it to be that close at the top of the grid. Dralex has binned it at the wall, the start-finish line, as he reverses over the line. Not a great display in 14th place. But James, this is really... this is going to give us a fantastic race with how close the drivers are at the top of the grid. It seems like Vap is spotting Danny in the chat up in Pina. It's a good job from him as well. But of course, I'm very forward to the race. If we can continue this in the Grand Prix, we're set for another brilliant race in URC.
Oh, it's tighter than anything really. The top 4 in qualifying there, all with a 1:29.1. Now, that is something I can't tell you. I mean, for a nature of circuit like this is in China, it's about 3 miles or about 3.3 miles long. It's a big old circuit really. It's an average sized circuit compared to most, but it's a fair sized circuit. For a circuit like Austria, for example, you'd expect a gap, maybe not expect a gap of 8,000. That's a bit hopeful, but that is mighty tight. And let's take a look at the grid then. So Tyrrell Limitless is on pole ahead of Simon on the front row. Sarah gets a great effort for the VSR team, starts from 3rd ahead of Pinecone in 4th. Not surprised we'll be disappointed with 5th ahead of Danny, who starts from 6th, and that is a brilliant effort from the RFL driver. Morso starts from 7th ahead of Carl Mitchell, who starts from 8th. Infamous and KJ Gamer round out the top 10. Leopard starts from 11th, top Tom in 12th. Joe, in the end, 13th. He's got some work to do. Jarlax from 14th, Fens from 15th, Rosberg, Selchi, Null round out the grid. These 18 ready to take the fight, but my goodness me, Joe has got some work to do.
He does indeed, starting down in P13 gyms. It's not what he wanted, but as on screen, James, poor rain. Anything was going to happen, and if anything, Joe wanted to spice things up at the front, is to have this pouring rain here in Shanghai. This is going to make it, this is going to add that extra date to this Grand Prix that we wanted here in the commentary box. It's going to make it even more tense coming around the first turn, James. It's hard enough in the dry, let alone the rain tonight.
Oh, goodness me. Well, that does throw up a new caution into the wind. But get my weather, and you've got yourself a good Grand Prix ahead. But really, these guys wouldn't have done really any practice at all in the wet. Now, from people saying, I've heard in the past, people on the pad in the wet seem to have perhaps a slight advantage, which would put Sims in the thing. There's one thing that's going to happen today. I want it to rain, and it is raining, well, cats and dogs out in China at the moment, and we will see how these guys fare into the first corner before we get over the obligatory formation lap.
I mean, you mentioned that this formation lap is their only real chance of practicing in the rain and trying to understand the grip conditions here in China. I'm interested to see how well Sira does being on the pad and the so-called advantage that he have today. Just like throw me over towards the grid. Looks like the fans haven't brought their umbrellas either, so not a great job from the Chinese crowd here in Shanghai. But for the start, talk our way through the formation lap. Want the to throw me over there and let James. Are you on the?
A bit of an annoying one. Game likes to throw up surprises, doesn't it?
It does indeed. That's stuff. It seems someone has blown up the lobby, so hopefully it does get fixed in a second. We'll hang around in the pits for now. Looks pretty sopping in the pits. You could almost swim down in that pit lane. I wouldn't recommend it. It'll hurt your stomach. But anyway, we'll get going in a sec, guys. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. Bear with us in the chat.
I wouldn't like to be the people stood on top of the roof. That wasn't a very well planned move there.
Wasn't, no.
It would be like China doesn't really stay there or say doesn't really do a lot of sunshine and stuff because of the amount of snow from Shanghai, but we are now we're a full man. Just it's interesting and they have. Well, it's heavy, but it's not going to be so heavy that they're having to bolt on a set of full wet tyres. I've not seen on this game, I'll be honest, I've not seen a full wet that will cruising tyre as well. But all these cars, if you're just the Chinese Grand Prix, the number of cars that, well, I think it was Kubica and Verstappen both spun on the formation lap. I wouldn't be surprised to see anyone
still having more trouble with. I'm just going to try and reset it one more time before we get